Hello again and welcome to my next video. As a teacher, I often get the question, I want to play jazz, but I don't know much about the music and I don't know where to start. One thing where you have to start is listening to jazz. And what I did now is I picked 12 albums of my collection where I think they would be a good start to listen. And it's always, if you want to play a style, you have to listen to the style. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to work. My students know that I'm pretty much vinyl crazy. I have a lot of vinyl records and I collect them. So I picked 12 out of my collection, what I think are good representation of classical, maybe a little bit to the modern jazz guitar. I will do more videos of this too in this series. My guitar candy about jazz in general, fusion, rock, pop, whatever. And always give you some recommendation of music you should listen to. So let's start. First record, George Benson. When you go to listen to George Benson, you'll find a lot of his pop and easy listening stuff. And if you want to hear him play as a young jazz guitar player, the George Benson Cookbook. This is with Ronnie Cuber on baritone saxophone, and I think it's Mel Ryan and who's the drummer? I don't remember. Lonnie Smith on the organ, not Mel Ryan, it's Lonnie Smith. A fantastic record. He's really blowing. He was in his beginning 20s when he did this record, and he's really killing. The George Benson Cookbook, an absolute must if you want to listen to jazz guitar. Another guy, Grant Green. Grant Green, very bluesy, very nice phrasing, very individual tone and feel. Grant Green, number one, Green Street. Fantastic album. Ben Tucker and David Bailey on drums, and it's really trio stuff, and he has really a voice of his own. Next one, Kenny Burrell. Kenny Burrell on Blue Note with Stanley Turrentine, Bill English, Ray Barretto. This is also a typical classical jazz guitar album, and it has congas in it because in the 60s this whole Latin fashion started, and it always has a light blues Latin touch with the congas. I think this is one of his famous records, and it deserves so because it's really a great one. Kenny Burrell, very bluesy, not a real virtuoso like this guy. Pat Martino El Hombre was his first album under his name, and I listened to this album a lot, and I think a lot of jazz guitar players listen to the early stuff of Pat Martino a lot. He's the king of the double time lick. So if you really want to learn how to blow over changes, transcribe his stuff. I remember I transcribed Just Friends, which is on this record. And he was also very young as he did this, and he was already a fantastic player. Great album, also very highly recommended. On the other side, if you like less notes, less virtuosity, more intellectual approach, Bill Evans and Jim Hall, piano and guitar duo. There's also a second record on this which I only have on CD. It's called Undercurrent. And Undercurrent and Intermodulation are two very famous records, how the piano and guitar can play together. It's a prime example how this duo concept of two harmonic, very strong instruments is working. So very nice to listen to. Then solo guitar, Joe Pass Virtuoso. I mean, this is kind of the standard on how to play jazz solo guitar. Many players tried it, but he is still, to this day, the king of solo guitar. Joe Pass Virtuoso. There's a number 2 out also, which you can also buy or stream. Bonnie Kessel, To Swing or Not to Swing. This is very old school, not even bebop, more swing guitar, or in between swing and bebop. but a very enjoyable listening, very nice music, not so complicated, more melodic, more old school phrasing on the guitar. One of my favorite records from Barney Kessel. With Barney Kessel, I always recommend his earlier stuff. The later stuff he did in the later 60s and 70s are not so. But his early stuff from the 50s and up to the mid 60s, very nice, very nice records. So, the king of them all. Here we read Wynton Kelly Trio, Wes Montgomery, Smoking at the Half Note. Pat Metheny was asked what does he think is the best guitar album, and he picked this one out, and I'm close to agreeing. I mean, Wes is, that's everything here. Virtuosity, chords, melody, octaves, and all in a live setting with a fantastic trio, Wynton Kelly Trio with Paul Chambers and Philly Joe Jones. Just an amazing record, and maybe really the best jazz guitar record there is. If you don't know this, you're missing out big time. So, Johnny Smith. A few of my students know him already because I introduced them to him. He is the most elegant player I know. His touch on the guitar is close to a classical guitar player, and his chords are very individual, it's all closed harmony, and when you play guitar you know how difficult it is to play these closed chords because you have really stretched your fingers. And George Benson once said he wanted to play chords like Johnny Smith. So he's really something else on playing chord melody in a band, and his touch and his tone is really perfect. And it's a very enjoyable listening, even when you with your partner and you need music for an evening. This is a very enjoyable record. Also, Stan Getz is great here. So, the guys who know me know this was once one of my teachers, Karl Ratzer, and I had to pick a Karl Ratzer record because, man, he's the most influential player here in Austria, and he's a kind of a world wonder. And this was in his prime. This was just as he came back from America. And to all the guys who study in Vienna at the university, when we go to the band, we see Klaus Dickbauer on alto saxophone, Martin Fuß on tenor saxophone. So Joris Dudley on drums, Uli Langthaler on the bass. This was all the young guys from the upcoming Vienna scene, which are now fellow colleagues of mine and fellow teachers of yours who are on this record, and they play great. This is a fantastic record. Carlo is killing. Carl is singing also, and he's really a great singer here too. So my favorite Karl Ratzer record. All the guys who don't know this player, check this out. It's an amazing stuff. So the next two, a little more modern, but still not fusion. When we talk about John Scofield, you normally think about Überjam or his more fusion related stuff. But in the 70s, John was a pretty straight-ahead jazz player with a very modern touch. He already played his pentatonic inside-outside concept on this record, but more on a swing setting. The musicians are Hal Galper on piano, Stafford James on bass, and Adam Nussbaum on drums. Fantastic drummer. If you don't know Hal Galper, check out him. Check out his teaching videos he has on YouTube. They give you a very good information. So he's on this record too, and this is one of my favorite John Scofield records, and I also transcribed some of the stuff here. Very interesting modern approach on how to play straight ahead jazz. The last one, also a record, the time as I was a student, we all checked this out. Question and answer from Pat Metheny with Roy Haynes and Dave Holland. And I think nearly every guitar player transcribed a little bit from the Solar solo, the Miles Davis tune, and also All the Things You Are. You hear Pat Metheny here, I'm blowing on All the Things You Are. This is also still straight ahead stuff, but very modern, in a more modern and a more open approach. And Roy Haynes is on fire here. He's really killing. He really is kicking Pat Metheny's ass, if you ask me. And this is a very highly energetic jazz record. Pat Metheny is really killing here. So if you want to listen to straight ahead with a more modern touch, check this one out. You don't have to buy the records. You can stream everything today. So costs you nothing. If you're looking for some new music to check out, follow my recommendations and give me a feedback which one you like, which one you don't. Okay? So happy you enjoyed this video. See you soon. Bye bye.